All right, listen, if you are one of these people who is super upset right now that there's a trans character in a cartoon on Netflix, you suck. That's so embarrassing for you. You lead an embarrassing life. You're such a fucking dork for that. And what's really crazy is you're most likely the kind of person who says things like, liberals just call everyone who disagrees with them a bigot. It's because of this. It's because you constantly do stuff like this. It's because you're literally incapable of seeing anyone who's the slightest bit different from you doing anything in any context without losing your fucking mind. The stuff that makes you mad is so embarrassing. And you don't have a good reason to feel the way that you feel. You're never able to articulate why this thing is making you mad. You're just kind of like, that in front of kids? Kids are looking at that? Looking at what? Someone who's different from you existing in a TV show that they're watching? What the fuck is your problem? Articulate it. Make it make sense to the rest of us. That kids shouldn't be seeing that stuff. Seeing what stuff? A trans person existing? Just understanding that queer people exist in the world that they live in? What specifically? Like, get specific. Articulate it. I don't like seeing people who are different from me, and I don't think kids should have to see people who are different from me. Not even necessarily them, because that kid watching the show might be trans. That kid might be gay. I don't know. But you're just like, they shouldn't have to see a show where the characters are different from me. You're such a fucking dork. Dude, Bad Bunny's doing the halftime show, but he looks different from me. His native language is Spanish. That's gotta be like against the law or something, right? He's not even American. Yes, he is. Puerto Rico's a part of America. You're just fucking stupid. Also, there's no rule that says that the person who plays the Super Bowl halftime show has to be from America, but he is anyway. You don't have a good reason to be upset about it. You're just a bigot. You're just racist. You're just transphobic. And the reason why it's so embarrassing that this is the stuff that gets you worked up, that this is the stuff that gets you to go to your phone and be like, I gotta let the people know about this one. Someone different from me is doing something again in any context. The reason why it's so embarrassing is there are just so many other things going on in the world that are so much more infuriating than a person who's different from you doing anything at all. Like, you're concerned about a trans character in a cartoon. You feel like kids shouldn't have to see that. You can't articulate why. But if I pushed you on it, if I said, just try to get to the root of like, why is this bad for kids? You'd probably spout out some bigoted bullshit nonsense about how trans people are predatory toward children, and you wouldn't be able to cite any examples that actually back up that assertion, but you would just sort of assert it as though it is commonly understood. It would literally just be an assumption you're making because you are a bigot. But even if I took you at your bigoted word, that like you are just a person who wants to make sure children are safe and that they're not being exposed to predators, you'd still be a fucking embarrassingly ignorant hypocrite because the president of the United States is a child predator. There's a Christian pastor from Texas who President Trump once described as his key personal spiritual advisor who just pled guilty to sexually assaulting children. You could get upset about that. You should be upset about that. But instead, you go, there's a character in a cartoon show that blah, 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 blah. There is a well-documented, repeated pattern of child sex abuse occurring in Christian churches across the world. The numbers are off the charts, and you just keep sending your kids back to Bible camp. But if a character on TV has two moms, you lose your fucking shit. Children are slaughtered all the time in this country by gun violence. It's a massive problem. You couldn't possibly be bothered to care about it, but if there's a black princess in a Disney movie, you fucking come unglued. If your genuine concern was actually the safety and well-being of children, then you could and should be upset about the fact that ICE is pulling kids out of their beds right now in Chicago and zip tying them in the middle of the night. Masked militant forces sent by the federal government are showing up in American homes, men with masks on, men holding guns, are taking children out of their beds and zip tying them and pulling them away from their families in the middle of the night. That's happening right now. You're almost certainly the kind of person who said that it was government tyranny of the highest order to make children wear masks during a global pandemic. You said that we would be doing lifelong damage to their psyche. And you're not saying shit about the fact that masked men with guns are pulling kids out of their beds in the middle of the night and zip tying them and pulling them away from their families. Again, these are American children, American citizens. Not that that should fucking matter. It should horrify you that children are being pulled out of their beds by men with masks and guns and zip tied in the middle of the night, no matter where they are from. But you're a bigot, remember? So you don't care when it happens to brown kids. But what's crazy is you don't even care when it happens to American citizens. You're too busy being mad about the Netflix cartoon and Bad Bunny. Holy shit. You are so embarrassing.
America sucks because of people like you. America sucks because you believe the harmful things you do. You're the reason